Go, Jay.
Hello and welcome to Star Wars News and Weekly Comic Recap presented by Tales from the Dark Side. This week we're covering two new comic releases. High Republic Adventures Issue 5 wraps up Part 1 of the IDW series. And the Marvel Star Wars comic event War of the Bounty Hunters continues to develop with Star Wars Issue 14. Hey, this is a special Father's Day pickup segment we got coming up as we show off our Dad Day gifts. In It's a Trap segment, will we see a Disney Plus Inquisitor series? If so, what would it look like? And if that weren't enough, rumors abound regarding a well-known antagonist showing up in the Disney Plus Ahsoka series. We'll take a look at previous appearances and see if it's a good storyline fit. Hey, we'll review and give our opinions on a red hot Bad Batch episode 8. Are we seeing what we think we're seeing? And finally, Kowakian monkey lizards love them, and so does almost everyone else. Jedi and Solo Wookie add more Star Wars dad jokes to your arsenal. Let's go, guys.
They better be good. All right. Sorry about the no big screen, but we've only got 4 here. Jedi, thank you. I know you got the rest of your interviews to go. I would like to say first, everybody out there who has sent any one of us private messages wishing the ones of us that are fathers happy Father's Day, thank you very much for that. We really do appreciate it. Jedi, if you could.
Okay. After an intervention by the Dark Side crew and some self-reflection, he no longer needs blood and crushed skulls to give Bad Batch episodes their rightful helmet count. He's a new man, so he says, but we kind of doubt it. Marco Madman is at the helm. Wookie Vision 2022 just released its premiere programming schedule. 4 hours of wrapping one package to mail, a 4-hour replay of the same footage, but with some post-production commentary, 4 hours of porch sitting, yelling at kids to get off his lawn, 4 hours of unwrapping one package he believes is directly from Todd McFarlane himself, and yes, a replay of that footage with post-production commentary. Finally, 4 hours of him brushing his beard. Hey guys, he might need some programming suggestions. Let's throw them up in the chat. Solo Wookiees here riding shotgun.
What's up, everybody?
You know, other Star Wars shows want his talents, but the Dark Side employment package is just too strong. No pay, no coverage, but we all promise to listen to his theories and shake our heads like we understand. Yeah, there you go. Paid up for another week. It's the guy behind the curtain, JJ Maxwell.
Oh.
And he claims to be a Jedi, but some say he's a Hutt. His waist size would indicate that he's probably somewhere in between, 30-70 maybe. It's me, Jedi Johnson, 22. Let's go, guys.
All right. Hey, Jedi, Jesus, those are great, man. Thanks again. I know the chats throw it together. Ed, it's good to see you're back for the algorithm. I actually missed you while I was going through. Ruben, Astro, Chad, everybody that's early. Kev, what's going on? Lewis, good to see everybody. We do know that even if you're watching on Renovision, Pete's with us in spirit. He's giving us the rah-rah. If you hear the binging in the background, that's him cheering us on while he's trying to act like he cares what he's getting for Father's Day presents. Okay, so with that being said, leftover, how you doing? Who wants to start? Jedi, since you're in the first position, why don't you give us what you got? I know you said you had a ton of pickups, but you were going to only do Father's Day gifts. Is this it?
Yeah, just doing Father's Day. I did get a lot of pickups, too many. Let's keep that on the down low right now. But yeah, so 2 things I got from my son. The first, I don't know how this will show up, but it's a desktop R2D2. And then I asked him after he gave me these gifts, I was like, how'd you get these ideas? He said, I watched your show. I was like, yeah, great. So hopefully other people did too. So one of the things I said on my show, or our show, sorry, Marco. One of the things
That's all right, your show. You take it over.
One of the things I said on the show was how I had given my son a Boba Fett backpack one time, but I kind of wish I'd kept one for myself. a little son of a gun went out and got me one.
Oh, look at that! How dope!
Nice.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I wish somebody in my family. I wish anybody in my family would watch our show. That's awesome though. Congratulations. That's really cool. Does anybody else want to go next, or you want me to go next? Doesn't matter.
Don't matter. I can go.
Okay, cool. We lost double
I got
J's.
a few. So this I ordered a little bit ago. Oh, who do you want to go? You ready?
No. Go. You're good.
Go.
No, we had to bring him back.
So this finally came in. That's that variant for number one.
Mm-hmm.
Ordered that a little bit ago. I was able to go to the store and procure a few of these.
Mm-hmm.
Did get me some virgins. 2 of those, so that was real nice. These aren't Star Wars, but I gotta show the 2 big books that I was able to find, and I think I overpaid for one and underpaid for the other. I did find me a pretty nice copy of.
Oh, nice. Hey, Dave. Thanks for checking in.
There.
A direct copy too.
Yeah, and that I've been looking for one of those for a while, but as we all know, the Wookie. He likes the Spider Woman.
Oh, nice.
I found a clean newsy. Real clean.
Nice.
So they both definitely need a cleaning and a pressing, but pretty stoked.
Every book always needs a cleaning and pressing, doesn't it? JJ, do you have something that doesn't need a cleaning and pressing, or what do you got?
Yeah, actually I do, ironically. But real quick, still going for the Dark Horse variant, so I picked up the Hastings.
Oh, that's
nice.
cool.
Hastings is the first one. So
That's
and
cool,
then
dude.
I actually bought a whole bunch of a small collection or a lot, I guess, whatever you want to call it, a Dark Horse ones.
That guy.
But I got this guy, the
Dark.
newsstand there. I don't know if
Yeah.
you can
See it on the left side. Yep.
Newsstand.
Or my left side when I'm looking.
And picked up another cheap Mile High variant, the Francavilla wanted poster version.
Wanted, yeah.
Sweet.
Little Han Solo. And then this was pretty cheap on Mercari, so I made an offer. It came through cheaper than I thought, but got myself a slabbed version of this guy.
Nice. A little
Not too
free
much
comic
money,
book.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not bad.
So Halloween Fest.
I've been thinking about slabbing one of those. Do you mind if I ask what you paid for it? Because I was thinking about slabbing one of those.
I paid about $70.
That's
It
not
wasn't
bad.
too bad. I mean, you get it slabbed, you're paying like 40 or whatever. So.
Yeah.
I always forget that was a free comic book day.
It was like the Halloween one, though. It wasn't like
What was the
the.
grade on that? What was the grade, JJ?
It's 9.8.
And you pay 70, dude. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
It's about 80 after shipping, I guess. If you want to include shipping.
I don't know, man. That's ridiculous. Can you believe that? You just paid $70 for a free book, bro.
Yeah, but I don't know. It would have cost me like $40 to grade.
No. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying the times we live in now. Like,
Mhm.
think about that statement 3 years ago.
Right.
Seriously, 3 years ago. Think about what I just said. All
Well,
right.
the goal is eventually to get all of them, all of the prints of it, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
Think about that statement, 20 years ago. People would have laughed you out of the comic shop. They'd have been like, get out of my store.
They would have been
that.
like, what's
$70
grading?
for a free book.
All right, so then this is what I got. I got some Father's Day, and then I got some pickups. For Father's Day, because I do like to cook too and stuff, and my kids, I'm always like losing the towels because I'm throwing them at them. But they got me. This one's it's the New Hope one and the Jedi one. So the New Hope one, this one they got because my daughter said she's on because she thinks she's Princess Leia. So she said, "Dad, I got this one because I'm on this," and I said, "Okay, sure."
Are you gonna?
And then huh? Yeah, absolutely.
Are you gonna
no, yeah, no, yeah. Huh?
No, I'm bad about it. If I get stuff, I'm like, dude, I'm never going to use this, even though it's made for being used. Even this backpack, my son made me promise that I'd actually use it.
You should use it. And then Jabba was on this one, and he's like, "Oh, you like Jabba, Dad?" And I said, "Yeah, I love the Hutt." So there's 2 of them in each thing. It's kind of cool. And then I was like, "Oh, where's the Empire one?" To my wife, and she said, "I didn't buy you a present." So then they also, this isn't Star Wars, but they got me this book. But then this is the trick. They got me this book so I could read it to them at night. So like today I had to read it to them.
It's a trap.
It is a trap. It was 100% a trap. And then I did
was just thinking your wife could get you the hand towel that's got all the stormtroopers on it. So that's the one that every time you throw it misses. Like no matter what you miss every time you throw that one.
So then out of the dollar bins,
Nice.
just this. That's all right. And then I got this out of the dollar bin too. And then, and then this I actually paid half for. It was $8.
Ooh, the
So
photo.
got 4. And then I got these for 10 a piece, and we're going to get into them later and why this is an important.
Upside down.
Why,
there you go.
Why this is an important book, and why it's an important book. And I actually really did like it. I was actually disappointed because I know we talked about it, and like the regular manager that was at my LCS was not here this last Wednesday, or yes, 2 Wednesdays ago with the FOC ordering. And he had told me, don't worry about it. We're going to have your FOC in there. I already explained it to him, and we'll have your poll. Well, they just informed me this week that the guy who was supposed to do that, he came in that day and said, I'm going to quit after today. So he did not do any of my FOC or any of my polling and didn't put those in my box either. So for the next week, but my comic shop's great and they took care of me anyways. So maybe I got a little bit better of a deal than $10 a piece on those. So thank you very much for that. That was awesome. It's been a great Father's Day. We are going to get into what is our first segment. Oh, hey, listen, everybody. So here we go. I'm throwing him under the bus on this one. If you guys like the headline, you want to know anything about it. He asked if he could do this. And I said, tread lightly. Yes, you can. So this is what I'm going to tell you, chat. Be nice to JJ because he is right. At the end of the day with this, he's right. Hear him out. Okay. We are going to go into odds or trap. That's how we're starting this out, right, gentlemen?
I believe that's it.
Okay. Just get it out of the way.
Right in.
Here we go. Oh, cool. All right. So here we go. JJ, take it away.
So we're going to go over the rumors. 2-part odds or trap today. So first one, we're going to go over the rumors of the Inquisitor show. And then the second rumor we're going to go over is the Barriss showing up on the Ahsoka show or possibly another show. So as everybody can see from the headlines, it's been a buzz on the Star Wars internet and Instagram and everything else this week about whether or not this is going to happen. So let's get into it. Hit the next slide for me. All right. So just a quick background on the Inquisitors here. Basically, I'm not going to go over them in real detail because if you don't know who they are, you probably have not watched Rebels and you're probably not watching us right now. So, but pretty much they're an elite squad of Force-sensitive individuals. Some ex-Jedi, not all ex-Jedi, at least not that we know of. They're trained by Vader, and basically they are the people responsible for hunting down the existing Jedi and possibly other Force-sensitive children and other people out there for things like Project Harvester and other things that Vader wants to do. And then you got basically 11 Inquisitors in all. Again, I'm not going to go real deep into this because it happens various different ways with all of them. It's important to remember one thing, though, in that a lot of them, I think 9 out of the 11 that we know of are dead at some point in the story that you're currently in between Rebels and probably up until... Actually, Rebels would be about the last of it, I think. Right?
Yeah, no, it's a possibility of 2. And after it would be after, yes, it would be after the Rebel. It would be at the end of Rebels. You would have the option of 3, I think, but after Rebels it'd be maybe 2. Yeah. Maybe 2.
Yeah.
And one's very
you don't really know. Yeah, they're left ambiguously. And anyways, and then to cap that
and one's
off,
a Force Ghost, and one will be a Force Ghost too. So
yes, I was about to say the Grand Inquisitor is currently tethered to a Jedi temple as a trap that Vader has kind of set. So Vader will not release his Force Demon or Force Ghost, however you want to look at it, from the temple. So that's his fate. So basically, long story short. Oh, you're fine.
Oh yeah.
Basically, does anyone think we're going to see an Inquisitors TV show? Not again. Remember, this isn't. Will we see the Inquisitors show up again? It's will we see a TV show about just the Inquisitors?
Okay, so I would love to see the show, but I also know the quote unquote source that this came from, and it is hot trash. It is hot trash, and it's hard. That's the unfortunate part about some of these. It's really hard to believe, like some of the things, and including the one that's an old rumor that they just rewrite when stuff gets kind of stale. There's a lot of cool stuff that happened in Star Wars this week. I don't think they needed to do it for clickbait, but I think that's kind of even how our title was a little bit, right? I mean, it actually isn't. We're going to show you why some are first appearances that people don't think are, but like, I think there's a lot of clickbait going on for articles and everything else. I believe I did not watch it because of Father's Day, and also I had a couple other prior engagements. But I believe Ben covered this in the CBSI top 10 too, in the show that was on it. How that some of these sources erroneously keep saying stuff so that people will get eyes on it, and they say, even how they word it, where it's like, we have speculation that there's a rumor. Well, you speculate that there's a rumor. That doesn't mean that's not even a rumor, man. So like.
Is that like
a lot of times
we have a rumor that there might be a rumor.
That's what they do. They say it.
Yeah.
They word
a lot
it
of times
ways.
it's reportedly from an unnamed source or inside source.
That inside source that thinks though. They even say reported from an unnamed source that feels that this could happen. And it's like, yeah, well, I feel like I could get sick right now and have to go use the bathroom, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do it. So I would love to see this because I love the Inquisitors and I like the whole part where he's torturing them. I definitely think that part of the Vader run, if you haven't saw when us and Jedi, were you doing those reviews on those in that Vader run when they were, when they were torturing them?
Yep.
Yeah. If you haven't read that segment, like definitely read it, and definitely there's key books in there. Will one of them show up? I think you always are going to have it, but I think that's how they're going to tell the story. The storyline for the Inquisitors isn't that long. Yes, go ahead.
Sister's cousin, sister, brother.
Right.
That I don't know. Aside from whether or not the sources, you guys have your ear to the ground a lot more than I do on any of this stuff. But I just don't know how you would actually. I guess you could do that, but I don't know if they would do that. A series focused on Inquisitors, and I don't know. I just think that certainly would be a shift in the way they do things.
I would like it. I mean, I definitely think you could do something about it as a short, but the problem with that is they already have told us the content they have so much, and you already see stuff running behind. Like the new Rare Republic stuff is already running behind, and it's like that wasn't even supposed to be out for 4 more years, and it's already running behind. So like, at what point are you going to, let's put into perspective for what they're actually going to do.
Yeah. And you've already got a season 2 for Bad Batch planned. That is, I'm sure, in production and not in the can yet. So
yeah,
so, I mean, but and all the and you guys have seen more than I have, like I said, but in like all the appearances that I've seen of the Inquisitors, where they square off against a Jedi, or if they're chasing down Force sensitive, they always seem to lose and either run away with their tails tucked or whatever. So is that going to be every arc is going to be okay? Well, they're going to lose.
Well, no, I think you'd show the recruitment, the parts before Vader starts cutting their body parts off, and even into that part, you know what I mean. So you'd show the recruitment and how they turned, and then you'd show the back, because some of them have just they're not around anymore. So. But no, I mean, like I said, I'd love to see it, but I think it's a trap, especially considering the source. And that's the biggest. I mean, it's the internet, but that's one of the most unfortunate part. Like Dave from UK said, like unnamed, so it's BS. You know what I mean? And that stinks, man. Because I really wish this is something that would hit. I think there's still a very strong possibility that we'll see 2 unnamed ones that we have never seen before, and we might see one that we know from the comic books again. But I don't think it's going to be a series.
What about you, Jedi? Do you think it never tell you the odds, or it's a trap?
Well, I'm just going to say that I think it's a trap. I don't think we're going to see it, not as a series, like Marco was saying, and JJ. I think we'll probably see them. I think there's enough interest that we'll see them, but I don't see them getting their own series. And that's aside from the rumors. I don't know who said what, when, where, how, but and maybe we will. We probably will, because I'm always wrong. But I just don't. I just don't know how they do it. So it's a trap.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know where they would go with a story for a full series, even a mini series. Like they're, in a way, most of the story of most of the Inquisitors has kind of been told. So I'm with Marco. I'll probably see 1 or 2 more show up, and I'll love it because I like the Inquisitors. But as far as a full series go, no. I tell you what it would work really well as, though, is a video game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love to see an Inquisitor's video game.
Like the Old Republic, do it like the Old Republic style,
Yep.
and do it in the Inquisitors instead. Dude, that'd be really cool.
Great point, man. I had not thought about that. That would be a dope video game.
Yep.
That would sell well.
I'd always argue that the first Vader run is the best, the second one is the second best, and this is the third best. I would agree with Astro on that, but they're all good. Go ahead. So
I think it's a trap, but I'm like you, Marco. I think that would be a really cool, if they did it right. It'd be short, but I think it'd be really, really cool. Some good content to see. But after what JJ just said, I gotta go video game. I was thinking maybe a cartoon or a short cartoon series. I gotta go video game now. That's brilliant.
how long do you think it's gonna be before they start actually putting the cutscenes on Disney Plus? If they're already doing, I mean, have you ever seen the YouTube cutscenes of stuff?
Oh yeah,
like it's the people put together like 2-hour-long videos. It's only a matter of time. And when if you do it as cutscenes, you can produce that into a video too, a 2-hour movie. You know, that'd be really dope to see. Yeah. All right, so we all think it's a trap. I really just think because of the source, it's a trap. I'm not going to name the source. Okay, number 2.
Yep, you're right.
You doing number 2?
Yep.
Right, there we go. Sorry, I just love the new graphic I added. I'm like a 2-year-old. I get flipping boxes. All right, go ahead.
All right, our old friend Barris.
Borisovy.
Borisovy. Is it Barris or Barris?
Barris.
Barris.
Right?
I always say Barris. Barris. Yeah.
They pronounce it
Barris.
I don't know what your accent is.
Okay. Barris. Yeah, in the books, they always pronounce it Barris.
I'll give it a little flavor. I'll say Barris.
There you go. There you go.
As far as Barris goes, she was a Jedi Master Lamara Unduli's Padawan. She became a Jedi Knight, and then things started to go a little sideways. There were a couple storylines. There was a storyline, I believe, where she, somebody will have to help me. I forget what it was that like infected her and took over her body.
Yeah, so it was like an alien, like worm type thing that went up and took her over and possessed her.
Yeah. Yep. So there was a couple storylines involving her in Clone Wars, and eventually, over the course of the Clone Wars, though, she gets rather disillusioned by the whole way the Jedi Order is acting, and the way they're involved in the war. To put it simply, she rebels against the Jedi and basically orchestrates a bombing on the Jedi Temple.
Yep.
She disguises herself as Asajj Ventress to do so, with a rather weird disguise that looks nothing like Asajj Ventress, other than lightsabers. And then, so from there, she sets up Ahsoka. Yeah, I don't know if it's safe to say she framed her. I mean, she kind of did frame her, but she basically let Ahsoka take the fall and knew Ahsoka take the fall. So that led to Ahsoka basically being put on trial. Eventually, Anakin saves the day and, exposes Barriss and goes from there. And pretty much it still leads to Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order and Barriss being kicked out of the Jedi Order and arrested.
I like your fun fact, though.
Yeah, a fun fact to remember, and this is kind of an important thing, depending on how you feel about the theory in the end, is that one of the temple guards that arrested her and escorted her to the trial was the Grand Inquisitor, became the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, he's the guy in the library.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're gonna go over this real quickly. So we're gonna go over just listen clearly to what he's saying. We're not trying to change anybody's opinion on anything. We're just we read the books, guys.
Yep.
Nobody's read more than us. We've corrected lists before for people. We've done it differently. Nobody reads more than us. That's all I'm going to tell you. So go ahead, JJ.
Real quick, like Margo said, I'm just going to go over it. I'm not going to push anything and name names, anything else. There's what is the appearances or comic appearances of Barriss. You got Attack of the Clones adaptation number 1, which is most certainly a cameo because she's literally in the background there with Lamaria and doesn't talk. Same thing happens in Attack of the Clones adaptation number 3. You see her in the background, doesn't talk or anything else. You wouldn't even know it's her unless you knew who she was. And then you have what you would probably still call a cameo, which is a little one-panel appearance where it's actually Yoda. I clipped him out of that picture, but it's Yoda talking, and he says Master Offie, which is a little weird because she's not a master in canon, but important to remember that none of these books, well, actually, I guess the adaptations are kind of
canon.
Adaptations
are canon.
Yeah, but the Republic books and the other ones you'll see here are not canon.
And done before Clone Wars, the cartoon came.
Yep, exactly. So
And
that was
then-
Republic 58 with that third cameo, if you want to call it that.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's the one where people might get up in arms a little bit. So there was Star Wars Republic number 65. It came out June 2nd, according to everything I could find, even on Dark Horse's website, published June 2nd. And this one actually has Barriss in it from the very start, talking. They name her. She's in, I think, 9 or 10 panels total, including the action. She's involved in the story. She's talking about the story. So she's not just in the background in this one. She's in there an awful lot. The question is this what you would call a full appearance?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think
it is.
So a lot of people are saying it's the free comic book day. And this is why. I think that people didn't. A lot of times when people were putting together these lists early on, I'm just going to say my opinion because I've corrected some of them. They didn't actually go through all the books and they didn't know who some of the characters were. And I think that's kind of how this happened. And then it got copied down the chain of line. And I think if you ask some of the people who started off with those lists, they would tell you the same thing. This is the first appearance. And it just got lost in translation. Now, that doesn't mean that the other book isn't worthwhile. And it doesn't mean that this book is worthwhile because they're both worth a lot. This obviously is her first. And then did you put the other book up there so we can talk about
it? It's in the next slide.
There you go. So the free comic book day, which also has got Grievous in it.
Yep.
And a couple other first too, doesn't it? And this has Bly in it. Isn't this Bly's first?
It is Bly's first. Yep. Commander Bly's first.
So they are already, both books are already commanding a premium. You're not going to sneak one over. We're not trying to we're not saying this is a free preview, like oogie, like stuff out there. It's wrong. I mean, the one's the first, and this is obviously the second on the free comic book day is like almost a full month later. And on either way, go ahead. So what else do you got here?
Yeah. So basically, there's the free comic book day, which is definitely her first cover too. I couldn't find her any other cover, at least for a floppy, before this. So you also got to remember too, I think one source of confusion is that free comic book day started in 2002. And in the first 2 years, it was in the first week of May. In 2004, when this free comic book day came out, that changed to July to get closer to the July 4th holiday. It was actually July 3rd. So it pushed it back behind the other book.
Which could cause confusion too.
Yeah, which that can cause confusion. So that's one way to look at it. But basically, they're both still important books.
Now, don't forget, I have this book. So I don't have the other one, and I'm short on time to go hunt it. So this one is all it for me. I'm all in on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think
dates no longer matter.
See,
It's what I have in my box and how much time I have to go hunt.
I mean, for people that me and JJ both have multiple copies of both books in here, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference to us. But just to let you know that when you hear this, when all of a sudden, if this character does come, we haven't even gotten to the point if the character is going to show up or not. But if the character shows up, just so you know. But keep finishing. What other books do you have here, JJ?
Okay, so a couple other great Barriss appearances. She's got a really nice cover on a Star Wars Adventure number 20, cover B. Probably her best cover, in my opinion. She does have a couple other covers in between there. And this one was interesting that I found. There was a Gentle Giant statue with her and Lamaria that was kind of cool. I really like the color and everything on it.
She almost lights up.
Yeah, I think it kind of glows in the dark with the neon. So it's kind of a cool statue. That came out like way long ago in 2005. But a nice find if you can find it. And from what I saw, they go for about $120-$140 if you can find them.
Oh, the Yoda cover stick. Yeah, that's really, those are really cool. Actually, one of our friends, the channel that watches us, had just posted down in Arizona. He'd posted like a live auction where they were going through and they were doing some of these. They were going so cheap. Like, I don't want to hear about Arizona and how you can't find anything anymore. Because I was watching this live auction outside, and it was a Billy auction, but that's sometimes what you have to go to. And I was like, oh my god, they had like the maskless Vader one, and they're like, has this even been opened before? They're like, we think it has all its pieces. I'm like, holy, for the love of everything that's good. All right, but let's get back to it. Great stuff there. Thank you, chat, for handling that. I know Ruben's like, oh, I love these first debates. Thank you for. I
felt compelled to do it. Sorry, Ruben.
Yeah, there was a lot of conversation if we would do that or not, and I said I don't mind as long as we're not trying to. You know, everybody's human. A lot of people run big things that they can't. They're not as in depth to it as we are. So, all right. But the question is the rumor? And by the way, can I talk about this? This was a rumor that was a long time ago. This was a long time ago rumor, and there's a certain YouTuber who didn't have any content this week, so brought it back up, and then it just went down the line again. The question is she going to show up, and is she the arch nemesis? Because I don't think she's her arch nemesis. That's kind of like, yeah. So that's a little part that people don't know. Like, she left too, and there's always been this theory, and there's been some old writings about how they might have been on the same path after, especially with the Ahsoka book. Like, they were expecting her to show up in the Ahsoka book, and they run back into each other, and they're kind of both doing the same thing. And, you know, not that Barriss was going to be like, hey, I told you the Jedi Order wasn't all it's cut off to be, but there was a lot of linking between her speech when she set up Ahsoka Tano and what actually happened to her. Because she died originally, supposedly, in the legacy thing. She's done.
In Legends, she's killed in Order 66.
Yeah, but she is not in the real stuff.
Well, we don't know her fate, actually.
No.
So that was my question, and I don't remember from the Clone Wars episode. So she didn't die. They put her in jail or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
They actually kind of rehabbed her. They tried to rehab her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they tried. Everybody the Jedi, everybody they arrest and put in jail, they try to redeem if they're a Jedi. So. And
she kind of redeemed almost like Tana redeemed, where it's not like she's just like, I'm done with this. So.
She still didn't want any part of the Order, supposedly.
Yeah, they just didn't want her to turn into the Lost 20 because then it'd be the Lost 23. Because apparently they still call it the Lost 20, but there's 23 Jedi, 22 Jedis that were masters that got lost. So, all right, so here we go. Solo, you were the last one to answer the question, so you can answer the question. This one, I don't want to know your opinion on what first appearance it is, because we already know what book you have, what book you don't have. What I want to know is, do you see her being an arch nemesis, and is she going to show back up in the Ahsoka Tano storyline?
Okay, they're all first appearance. Get them all. Rabid Star Wars fan, get them all. And I think it's a real solid never tell me the odds. I think that because we know of this story, and maybe I'm missing something. We hear about it in the novels. We hear a little bit about in part of Rebels. Where else do they show it? They don't ever really give the full finite definition of all this. So for Ahsoka's new show, this would be a smash hit. This would be awesome. It'd fill in that little timeline gap. They could really tell a lot of this story, plus give some snippets of some other stuff. And snippets. Did you get that? No, over your head. All right,
I got it.
So I think this is a great never tell me the odds.
All right, never tell you the odds. All right, JJ.
This was a tough one. I don't necessarily know that she'll show up in the Ahsoka show because it kind of depends on where that Ahsoka show takes place. But I think there's at some point we'll see Barriss again. I mean, they never told us our fate, and usually when that happens, they have a way of bringing those characters back up again. Like we'll see maybe in the Bad Batch review as we do that. So I think it's inevitable that we see her again at some point. Whether or not it's in the Ahsoka show, that I'm not so sure about. So that part, I'd say it's a trap. But
okay, that's good. What do we got for Jedi? Jedi, what do you have?
Well, if I'm going to answer the question strictly as it's written, I'm going to say I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think she's going to be an arch nemesis to Ahsoka in the show. Will we see her? Hey, why not? I mean, but I don't think she's going to be the focus bad guy, antagonist, whatever of the show. So, no, okay. I say don't think it's going to happen.
This is why I think I agree a lot with Jedi. This is why I think it's actually a trap, because I think the first series of the Ahsoka show, did you hear what I said? First series of the Ahsoka show is going to be going forward so that they can lead into the Thrawn thing with Sabine. And if you do that, I'm not sure Barriss shows up there. Now, if you go back to when they lost the Blacksaber, something happened with Sabine, and there's that gap period in between the end of Clone Wars, the end of the book, like the actual end of Clone Wars and the end of the original novel on it. There is a gap period between that when she met up with them in Rebels, and then that little area there, that little area where she's supposed to be on some planet where you could put that Barriss stuff. And I think that's where it would be. But if that's the case, I don't think they're going to do flashback in season 1. I think it's going to be going forward. And maybe it's a little bit of fandom, right? Like I want Sabine Wren. Like I want Thrawn in live action. You know what I mean? And I hope Ezra isn't Freddie Prinze Jr. I hope he's somebody else. And then I'll be all happy. You know what I mean? So like, let's get that going. So I'm saying it's a trap, and that's 90% because of Star Wars knowledge and 10% because of fandom.
Dude, you know what she was always originally rumored as, right?
What's that?
Was one of the Inquisitors.
Oh, yeah. For the longest time, yeah.
For the longest time, they said, "Oh, she'll be one of the Inquisitors."
But I thought they kind of shot that down by saying that.
They kind of did.
I think Pablo said something to the effect that that's not actually.
There's only one. There's only one female Inquisitor now that they haven't revealed their identity. So whether or not that was her, we don't know. But everybody else, they at least revealed enough identity that we don't know it's Barriss. She does kind of have the outfit already from when she dressed up as Asajj or whatever.
Yeah. Right. So she could be like the mystery Asajj that they never ran into. All right. That was really good stuff. Once again, I want to thank, we do have some of the best fans. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Lopez, happy Father's Day to you and everybody else out there that's a father. Scott, it's good to see you. VK, I know you snuck in there. And Flynn's Ghost, glad that you're putting together the bookshelves. All right. Very good. All right, JJ, that was another good one. Let's see what they talk about Monday morning around the cooler on that one, because I have a feeling we're going to get a couple notes there. So good job. We do have some more first appearances that we are going to cover. That is not the last one, but we decided to spread them out so that we don't overkill you with that. And I'm trying to kill time so I can see okay, we're going to get into the comic books this week. Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can shut the program down or if I can win it again. All right. There's 2 books this week that came out. One is one of our favorites. I think currently, as far as the High Republic goes, I think it's not just ours. I think it's the Runaway. I honestly, everybody, I was in a different comic shop one that I only visit once a month. That's where I got those dollar books from. But like, even there's a conversation going on, and the owner of the comic book store had said, like, I didn't even order Adventures because the High Republic Marvel stuff is not that good. I don't understand why anybody would read it. And this lady was like, I think you don't understand. And she started talking about this, and I turned to him and said, yeah, okay, so I'm going to explain it to you. And I went down like what was going on in Adventures and everything else. And just in a general term to him, I said, does that sound cool? And he's like, yeah, that sounds cool. What book is that? And I was like, the kids book. He's like, why didn't Marvel just write the kids book instead of what they're writing now? So we'll go over IDW real quickly, and then we'll go over Star Wars, probably the weakest. This is literally the strongest of the High Republic and the weakest, in my opinion, Star Wars book out there. What a great week to have both. I'm not quite sure anybody will disagree with that. Here we go. High Republic. We had a RI, which you shouldn't be paying more than $10. I know some people did, but and then you had the general cover on the left side is the regular cover. Both covers are pretty cool. You've got Kix and Krill. What's her name? Kree or whatever. Back again. Krix. We had a conversation about this. I think Krix is Zine. Yeah. Krix is the runaway character of this, right? But I also caution you of this. Like, do go back and read Jedi vs. Sith. And remember who you thought was... I see too much of a liking in the Jedi Sith. I have a feeling this Krix character may not be as dark side as he appears to be. That's
the interesting thing is he playing them or not? I guess is the real question behind him.
So they're on a planet. He's shooting down people because that's what the Nile has given them. And that was the one thing that the lady said. She said the Nile are actually in there and they're actual bad guys. And everybody likes the Nile. In my opinion, I think she's right. So there's some creatures that are tearing stuff apart. And you see it, like, I can't believe in a junior book, though. I mean, it is what it is. But, like, Marchand Rose just, like, always kill everybody. Let's destroy everything. And they do. Like, one of the scavengers, like, is murdering somebody and still they don't care. These two have a relationship where she actually, if you look at it, starts force choking him. Mm-hmm. And like, that's what I see. I was like, oh man, this seems a lot like the story between Darth Zana. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you read that Jedi Sith stuff,
she's angry because she saw what they did as far as killing the other people and everything else.
Even though he didn't exactly do it.
No, he didn't do any of it, but she assumes he's with them, I guess. Yeah. Oh, he did shoot down her plane.
He shot down her jet plane
by accident, kind of. But
But so then they get in a little battle. Marchand comes back to save him, which is interesting. I cut some of these out because I want you guys to buy the book. I really do. This character is probably the more annoying than Jar Jar Binks. I don't even know why he's still alive. Hopefully this boom actually kills him off. We obviously know Yoda's not going to die. But here's the key part. In the end, they start giving the playbacks to both of them to see what's going on with the two young characters. And Ro is in there, the leader of the Nile, is talking to Crix. And the rest of them are like, hey, you're okay. We got your little bat thing. Everything will be fine, blah, blah, blah. Jedis love each other. But this was crazy. I don't think I expected this. First off, Crix is now wearing, the eye helmet. But also, they showed Marchand Ro's face here, and which we never have seen before. Mm-hmm. It looks kind of badass, which I thought was super duper cool. Yeah. And I think it's probably at the end, if they do, the one character that's going to be the winner, in my opinion, and everybody else's that reads this, I think, is Marchand Ro, right? So,
yeah.
Did you have something else to add, JJ?
I was going to say, do we think that, because he talks about, I don't want to spoil it too much for everybody to get it, but we kind of already did.
I tried not to. I cut it down so it was hard. It was
Is he going to be a Tempest runner, Crix?
Yeah.
He gets the helmet and he tells him he wants him to watch over the base station and everything else.
Maybe, but remember, at this point, he's got 3 Tempest runners. He hasn't killed off the other Tempest runners yet.
Right.
So, we don't know. We don't know what the future holds. I know Laura Dune is probably going to be sticking around for a while. I have a feeling she's the last Tempest runner that's going to stick around for a while. But this could be one of the... Remember, there's that story, the Palpatine son storyline that they ended up, because of the movies, it now doesn't make any sense. But remember, he had the one kid, Grix, and he ended up adopting him, taking him, putting him on the planet, and then he ended up running the... This seems a lot similar to that, too. It seems like they're doing a lot of cool storylines that they cut off and didn't continue with. So hopefully we get some of that. Man, it's really cool. And by the way, I think she's actually going to turn to the dark side. I think Zine is going to turn to the dark side because she's... I don't know. She almost force choked somebody to death anyhow. So that's Adventures. Another great week. Also gives us something cool again in it. Plus, Bucket of Bloods was back. So Bucket of Bloods is always a winner in that book.
He's great in that book. I love him.
So, do you know coming? Go ahead, Jedi.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know if we're going to go right to the next comic or if we were going to discuss this one around the horn. But yeah, so this one every time. Just a little bit of a backstory here. I read this. And every time you talk about how this is our favorite amongst and I kind of shake my head like, I don't know. Really, the only reason I have kept reading this comic up until this last issue, let me caveat that, up until this last issue, one of the main reasons the reason I kept reading this comic is because I'm a panelist on this show and I felt it was my duty to read this comic because it really was not doing anything for me. And, hate me if you will on that, but yeah, this last issue kind of changed that for me, and I'm very curious now. I think they did a really good job on this last issue of winning over maybe readers like me who were kind of on the fence, and now are very curious as to where they are heading with this. As far as will they, won't they? How is this going to fall out? The whole helmet thing, like you brought up, him getting the helmet, so. Good job on this issue. You've won me over for at least another arc, I think.
I wonder too, maybe if that's our fault, like a me and a JJ's fault, right? I wonder if it's because we know so much of the lore and we see some of these we see some of these little tropes that they've done before, and we know what's going. We don't know what's exactly going to happen, but we kind of know where it's going, right? And we're like, oh, this is why this is flat out better. They've got the main antagonist bad guys that we know about. We read all the books, so the novels, so we know kind of what happens in the future with some of these characters. We know which ones are going to stick around. And then we see them as the front runners, the characters that we care about as the front runners. And we know what they've done in old stories, like the Darth Bane story or the Plague story, or even the Revan. Revan before he's Darth Revan, after he's Revan, and all the characters in between. We know what they've done with those storylines before, and it seems like the adventure book, is along that type of. Yes, JJ, or would you agree with that?
Yeah, and reading the novels helps fill in the gaps and stuff in your head of where you think things are going, and even novels that aren't High Republic novels. We'll get into that maybe with a theory later, but we talked about that a little bit before. And two, don't forget this issue was the beginning of the second arc.
Yeah.
the first arc, I would kind of agree with Jedi. It was a lot of exposition. They really did in like 4 issues what they could have done in about 2 issues. In the first one, they kind of stretched that exposition out a little too much, but it's still better than the other version, the Marvel version of High Republic, which
It's
I don't
all
care.
over the place.
I don't care about the sentient plant people. Like, hopefully, the Hutt cartel revives that thing. I don't want to get I don't want to get too far into it. We'll do it on another review, but yeah, this has been the better one, I think, just from a storytelling narrative perspective.
And it's unfortunate because I think we had high hopes for the High Republic one, and the Marvel one is kind of taking a dump. I mean, look, at least we're going to be honest about it, right? Like, if it's a dog, it's a dog. So, all right. Oh, Solo, did you have anything else? Solo? Yeah, let's talk about dogs.
No, I like this one. I haven't read this issue yet, but I would agree. I think this series so far has been the best, but out of the comics in the High Republic. But the best overall out of High Republic so far for me has been the novels. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think they're knocking it out of the park with the novels. And
I think they are.
I think they're using the comics to do a lot of the little filler, which is okay. But it like Jedi was saying, there's going to be some lulls, and then you're going to have a good comic that's like, oh, I see where this is at.
By the way, just real quickly for the filling in the holes, that Tales of Villainy, the Adventures Tales of Villainy, the one that has we talked about it last week, watched it in the episode, it'll all go in there. They have what's her name in the Maria in the tube. I know for a fact it's been under ordered and sold out. So like if you can get a copy, I would suggest you get a copy because I think they're going to get something big in that little segment right there. Speaking of not big, we have the Star Wars. I mean, I like the Lando cover, of course. I ended up getting 2 copies of I didn't even buy the regular copy of this. And I'm not going to show the 15 variants because there was an H-Wing pilot or something, which is all, it's just, I did get one copy. That's what I did. One of those, the action figure.
Anniversary variant.
No, the action figure.
I said there was also an anniversary variant. Wasn't it?
So what?
Yeah.
So what?
That nobody bought.
Yeah, that nobody bought. All right, so here we go. Oh, great. This is great. So we get hold the chick with purple hair, if you remember the J.J. Abrams. No, it was the Ryan Johnson movie, right? Or is she in both? Who cares?
Yep.
Whatever. I mean, so she's in here, and Leia explains how they're old friends. She does the hollow thing. Han's back. I actually did kind of I thought this was going to be really cool. Like, he gets a hold of Bib, and I was like, oh, crud, he's going to backstab him. It'll be great again. And it turned out that they went back to this old story arc. They were talking about how Lobot, this saboteur robot, it just was out of place in the storyline anyways. And, I think it was like 8 books ago, and now they're bringing it back in the middle of the bounty hunter thing. It didn't make any sense. They eject it, and the robot's like, oh, I can save Lobot and bring his memory back. We all know that Lobot gets his memory back anyway, so I don't think it's that big of an issue. But they ended up ejecting him into space to try to give him to Jabba the Hutt, which I don't know where that's going with that. But to be honest with you, I don't actually give 2 shits. This story's just so bad. Like, I don't care. They do bring in the Red Dawn. Sorry about the swearing, folks. But they bring in the Red Dawn because they end up crashing the ship into an ice planet. And there's going to be an auction. This is like the Darth Maul story. They're going to auction off Han now to the highest bidder, just like they did with the Padawan in the Darth Maul thing. And all the syndicates will be there. So the end of that one. I'll save everybody the trouble. Next week we have. Does anybody have anything to add? Please add something.
Boring.
To that.
I feel like it was stuff we kind of already knew just from the movies. Like, it kind of filled in the gaps, but I know Leia and Lando are kind of pursuing Han. I didn't need this issue.
Yeah,
I guess is the thing.
Waste of time.
But we'll buy it to have the complete run.
Yeah, I'm about to say Ruben's right. I'll buy it. I did buy it, but still.
And I'm hoping this. I know I'm stretching because I love Star Wars. I'm hoping this is a setup for a few books down the arc. All of a sudden, bang! We get some good stuff.
They just went back.
I just am really
Solo, man. I think you got to give up on
the
hope.
Man. I'm hoping.
There's no hope. They just went on a storyline that robot storyline where it took Lobot's programming was the dumbest thing ever, and they did one little tidbit in here. It was just embarrassing to read.
I think, as far as I'm concerned, reading this, I think that, we talk about filler episodes. I think there were some filler pages in this comic book as far as this little robot getting ejected. And then, you thought maybe you were going to see another confrontation between Chewbacca and Lando, where, Lando has to kind of trick Chewbacca or smooth Chewbacca into going back and picking him up because now he needs him, except
they did it.
Happen.
Didn't happen. Left him in
So
space.
it's like, I don't know if it's, like Solo was saying, maybe it'll come back later. Maybe we're looking at a Lando arc or something, or a Lando series where they.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the memory coming. I don't want to see it though. And yes, Ed asked a question. He goes, I'm getting them all. Am I a sucker? Yes, Ed, you and all of us are suckers because we are buying this.
Every single one of us.
If the High Republic is trash, like the Marvel High Republic is trash, this is dumpster fire. Like this is why people for years would not read Dark Horse and the original Marvel run. This is the epitome of bad, just bad, just bad. Could you get Aaron back, please? Okay. Now that I'm on my soapbox, let me get off real quickly to talk about next week's book. Oh, Darth Vader. At least a good series. The cover, however, not so great, I don't think. I mean, I love the character on the cover, and we will talk about that more later. Yeah. Do know also next week they will have Star Wars Adventures, Tales of Villainy. The next one's the more important one. This one does have a Tarkin cover, though, for the B cover, I think, which is kind of cool because you don't always get Tarkin on covers. The A cover is another Padme and Anakin cover, so good luck.
The completionists are going to want that cover, especially if you're collecting the Pride covers. You're going to want that.
Oh, cover. The one on the left? Yes, I agree. Yeah. I'm just talking about the other one. The other Adventures one's got Tarkin. The story inside sucks, but
it has a probe droid on.
Does have a probe droid on it too.
You don't give me any covers of that either.
No, you don't give me any probe droids. No, yeah. Interrogation droid. Yeah. That's cool. All right, so that is cool. Check those out at your local LCS next week. Hopefully, you already reserved the Ray Sloan. Did I just say Race? Yes, Race Sloan cover. Plus, you probably did because everybody just said that if you bought the Lando cover, you're buying Darth Vader. If you're buying Star Wars, the main title, you're buying Darth Vader. We don't even have to tell you that. But this is going to be her first cover appearance. So make sure that you pick it up next week. Okay. I am going over to try to stay organized. That is it. And we are going into character profile with JJ. So how do I stop the screen and not shut it down? Perfect. And he will talk about that first appearance. Okay. Share screen. I know, dude. I just did. I almost did it again. I almost shut it. All right. Here we go. All right. Tell me when.
All right. Go for it.
Yeah.
Let's get into Grand Admiral of the Empire, Ray Sloan.
How does that look anything like that cover?
Yeah, there's a lot of images of Ray Sloan out there. So as you see this, you go through them, and there's all different ages too. So I tried to pick out like a spectrum of what she looks like in between novels and video games and comics and even a little bit of fan art. So there's some different images of her. But anyways, she is the Grand Admiral. Most people recognize that ranking from Thrawn. And as we go in here, just a quick notable facts. She was born in 41 BBY, which was to be roughly about 20 years before the Clone Wars. She grew up on a poor planet that was overrun by gangs. And she actually was kind of emboldened to join the Empire because it was the gang or the Empire who kicked the gangs out of the planet she was on. At one point, there was also a story where she tried to run away from home in her origins and ended up getting roughed up by the gang. So, as a cadet, she was inadvertently, I guess, there was a plot to assassinate Vader and Palpatine by basically plotting a course to send them into like a sun or something. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Or supernova or something like that?
They're going to do what happened to what's his name? The bounty hunter that they're about to come out with.
Right. Yeah. So she basically saved Vader's life by saying, these are weird coordinates. They're not the ones I put in. And Vader's like, oh, really? Show me the ones you did. And then Vader kind of solved the mystery that one of the generals in the Empire was trying to kill him. And then she eventually gets to work on Tarkin's flagship. So she has a working relationship with Grand Moff Tarkin, which always elevates your career in the Empire. Mm-hmm. She's eventually promoted to Vice Admiral. And that's when she has a run-in with Kanan. And Kanan slips her grasp and she kind of gets demoted. But she does work her way back up. And by the end of the Battle of Endor, she actually is one of the last living officer. She's the highest ranking officer as an admiral at the end of the Battle of Endor. So when everybody else in the Empire is dead, she is the leader of what is left of the Empire army.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, she wants to continue on the Empire and craft it into her opinion of what the Empire should be, a better Empire than what Palpatine would have had, is kind of her goal. And she ends up staying in the military, basically, and actually becomes one of the first military leaders of the First Order.
She ends up taking out a bunch of dudes too. Like she ends up, there's a bunch of guys going back and forth fighting, and she ends up rounding them all up and taking over their squads. Doesn't she kill someone, take one, and just throw them out the airlock too, or something?
Yeah, and she basically straight up assassinates one guy. She throws a guy out there. So she's pretty cutthroat. Don't think that anybody who works their way up to Grand Admiral in the Empire, she's pretty ruthless. So no different than Thrawn. She may have a little bit of odd motives, as far as maybe the exact same motives that Palpatine had, but she is cutthroat to get her motives done. So.
Oh, sorry. I'm watching you and not switching the thing. All right.
So with all our character profiles, we'll go over their first appearance, which I just realized I mistyped at the top. So it is not TIE Fighter number 1. It is Kanan number 12.
My bad. I
that's
didn't
right.
check that well.
I should have proofread it too, but I did not. Anyways, that is the first and only appearance of Rey Sloane. She appears in this book as a vice admiral in an attempt to trap Kanan. Kanan's kind of her, I don't know what would be a good like cop and robber analogy, but if she was the cop, Kanan's kind of the robber that she's always after. Yeah, there you go. So Kanan basically escapes her custody, I think, a couple times. And this comic is also known for actually also being a cameo appearance of the Grand Inquisitor. And if you want to know more about her other appearances, this novel or this comic, ties into the other novels that she's in.
So JJ, have we seen a rise in this comic as far as?
Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Just because is there that much spec on this character, the Admiral, that this comic is starting to rise?
I think Star Wars fans know about, like, people who watch like Rebels and are big fans of it have always keyed in on this book.
Yeah, there's more and more.
It does fluctuate. Yeah, it fluctuates, but it has been steadily increasing.
It's not a crazy, and it gets a little bit of traction too from the Grand Inquisitor thing.
Yeah.
So it used to be you only saw, like, if you pulled it up on Kanan number 12 on eBay, you only ever saw like the Grand Inquisitor reference, but now you'll see more and more people reference it as the first Rey Sloane.
Yeah,
yeah. So she's gaining some traction out there, and she's been in novels and other media. Actually, if Marco flips to the next slide for me, I'll kind of go over it. But
I will.
So her reputation among Star Wars outside of the comics has grown a lot.
Oh, I think he was asking too. So the average value is pretty much about, you could get that book for 40 or less for the raw in pretty good condition. And then, you're around 180 on average for the 9/8, but you can get for a little bit less too. I think it fluctuates, Jedi. I think that's kind of what you're asking, but it give or take.
Yeah, you'll see some auctions probably in lower than that, but the way it is with all books. So
right.
Basically, there's a short story about her in Star Wars Insider 157. And then she does appear in a lot of novels. So she's in A New Dawn, which is the novel that tells the origin of Kanan and Hera. She's in all the Aftermath novels, and I think one other novel, which I didn't mention on here. And I can't think of it off the top of my head now. And also a super fun appearance for me, because I play a lot of the Star Wars video games, was Squadrons. She was in that as basically an older, I think she's an admiral in that game. The TIE Fighter, I want to say, but I'm not absolutely sure on that. And then next week, as Marco said, you got Darth Vader 13, the Pride Month variant, which will be her first cover, who she looks, according to some people, like a teenager on that cover.
And somebody who's, I don't know what they have. The laws are in Hawaii, but he must be smoking something.
Not the hugest fan of that cover, but
I love it because she's on it, and I actually like the background. I just don't like what they do with the cover. Yeah. I think we're just huge fans.
I don't know,
of her.
And I don't know where the cape comes from.
She's
like still from Kenrick. That's our quick character profile on Rey Sloane. So,
cool.
I think it's a character that they will use in the future. Like I said, she's been in a lot of media, and you'll probably see her come back up again at some point. You may even see her in the likes of. She's been in shows too. I should mention that she's been in Rebels. So you might see her come up in other animated shows like Bad Batch or something like that. So
she does have a presence. Very good.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, there you go. Feel free. I know some of you said you came in late. Feel free to go back and run through some of that stuff. Wow, mistyped. Yeah, we messed it up. That's a two-parter because I did say I proofread everything.
Damn autocorrect.
I didn't proofread anything.
Damn autocorrect.
All right.
You type in Kanan, it comes out TIE Fighter. I don't know.
Well, no, I think he was thinking because she was one of the best parts that he likes is the video game. So like she was a TIE Fighter captain in there, so he probably came out with that.
No, it was autocorrect. He typed in Kanan 12 and it came out TIE Fighter 1. I don't know why autocorrect does it.
All right. Speaking of, I don't know why, we're going to do a segment that I still to this day don't know why we do. All right. Tales from the Dark Side presents Star Wars dad jokes with Jedi and Wookie. Hey, bartender, which Jedi became a rock star? Everybody?
I don't know. Which one?
Bon Jovi Wan Kenobi.
Get out.
Yep. All right. So let's see if we can tell them to get out. Guys, here we go.
This is everyone's favorite part of the show. I mean, I just want you to know that. Right now. I get so much fan mail about this.
You guys do. I don't know why. I think it's all a get, but whatever. All right, go ahead.
We're gonna have to start writing some of our own here pretty soon. It's gonna be great.
Oh my god. All right, hey, I'll go first. Hey, mine are all Yoda centric this week, so no particular reason other than these are the ones that kind of made me chuckle. What was Yoda's first word as a baby?
I don't know. What was Yoda's first word as a baby?
We're not sure, but it probably came after his second word.
That's legit.
No, that's not legit. No,
it's too legit to quit.
Yeah.
Where does Kylo Ren get his creepy black clothes?
I don't know. Where does he get them?
From his closet.
God. Oh, Wookie, you're
making a joke.
You're making me. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, we knew sooner or later we were going to start scraping the bottom of the barrel there, so we'll maybe get close. Okay. Hopefully, I can get through this one without tripping over my tongue, but I have to read it. What did Yoda say to Luke for taking too long in the restroom?
I don't know. What did he say?
Do or do not do, but hurry up, you must. For go do, I do too.
What? Who's allowing this? I blame the chat 100% on the chat.
What is R2D2 short for?
I don't know. It stands for something.
Because he has little legs.
Oh God!
No. All right.
Good though.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know.
We'll see you next week.
We might. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Well, some people are liking them. Some people are giving you doo-doo. Guys, I don't know why we do this every week. I just okay.
Also, we go back to that typo on the slide. I'm going to also mention that I was sick for the last half of this week, and
stop making. They don't care. Nobody actually reads the slides.
I was probably high on cold medicine when I did that. So
most people just listen to us in the background. They only look at the books. All right, don't worry about it. What is? Oh, for all you Black Series people, we do have some great Black Series news, and we actually have maybe a little something. I guess I thought everybody knew this, but I guess I was a little bit behind too, and I didn't put it on the IG. I put some of it on the IG, so hopefully some of you got some of these characters. Shout out to Gonzo. He's going to try to get on, but they are really working them hard. I want to say thank you to all the service members, especially around the holiday, for those public servants that have to keep us safe. We appreciate it. We know summertime's tough, man. We know that. Hey, I'm one of the people that drink too much. We get it. So we want to thank you very much for doing what you do. All right, let's share our screen real quickly. What we got here? No, we're not going to go back to that one. Definitely not gonna go back to dad jokes. Star Wars Black Series, so cool. They released this. I did put this up. This was a exclusive to Walmart. Thanks a lot. But the Rex is super duper cool. Apparently, the hey sticks. I'm gonna try to pull up some of the stuff they said about it. I do like the 2 blasters and that they gave him the cape, so we get caped Rex here. Comes with the visor, which is nice. It is $30 though, and you're not getting a lot of extras. I mean, you're getting like the cape thing, I guess, and you're getting the visor that is a visor. His helmet comes off, and you get 2 blasters. But people are super duper stoked about this one. I think it's really cool. Probably the best sculpt that they've had for a Rex. And I always like it when the helmets come off. They did a clone trooper, the 212. So it's going to go, you're going to get that in with the rest of the series over here where they were doing the Ahsoka Clone Wars type series, which is really cool. That's an added on and a builder. This is true. So there it is. We don't know about the back yet, so we will see that. And they did give him a little droid, which is just weird. Mouse droid. But we got the Dark Hunter, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So if you wasted money on the other Hunter, you get the Bad Batch crosshair, the Imperial one.
Crosshair.
Yeah, I don't think the box is exactly the same, but it's pretty whatever. They're still giving you one of them. And
why is it always a mouse droid for Imperial people? It's like, just give them a mouse droid.
They did, but cool figure, except for I think I already have the other figure, so I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up. They do have the Power of the Force is coming back. We got Greedo, which is cool, Han, and then just a terrible looking Luke, but whatever. I mean, we're redoing it, so he's going to give you the glasses and everything else. I'm kind of getting done with the 50th. The 50th Lucasfilm thing is just enough. This was really cool. This is the one I'm talking about. This is what I wanted to get to because a lot of people seem to have missed this. Gaming Greats, and this is still, you can still pre-order this at your GameStops, correct?
Yes.
So Zabar, he was part of the Old Republic teams. He was the one that teamed up with Mayo. He was kind of like her guard. There's a lot of interplay with the two of them. This is during the Rev and Air. This is not the other Republic. This is actually during that era. That's really cool. Great figure. He actually comes with a bowcaster that's pretty dope. And look at that sword, man. I mean,
Vibroblade. That's what they call it. Vibroblade in the game.
Yeah. Well, this is more of a sword than the Vibroblade because the Vibroblade would have had like the blue on it, right?
So I like this.
Yeah,
I would have, because I don't play the games, I would have seen and I do collect Chewbacca as another character I collect. I would have seen this at a GameStop or whatever, bought it thinking it's Chewbacca, and paid for it before I ever read the box and found out it wasn't.
He was what in the game wasn't his hair a little bit lighter though than was it that? And he looks a little taller. He's a little skinnier than Chewbacca. I can't remember, but am I correct, JJ? I haven't played the game in a long time.
I mean, he looks. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on. I always played it on Xbox, so the graphics aren't exactly the greatest. But yeah, I would say he probably had a lighter color to him than Chewie did.
Well, later he's a little skinnier and taller. It seemed like this doesn't. Yeah. This looks more like Chewbacca than it does like him.
He's supposed to be a relatively young Wookiee too, if I remember right.
I believe you were correct. But hey, man, I pre-ordered it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Mission. Is it Mission? Mission's Mayo, Mission's
Mayo,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yep, Mission Mayo. Yep, that's cool. Is that poor head Wookie?
Who, by the way, was the most. I don't know who the voice actress is. She's probably like some celebrity now. The most annoying voice actress in Knights of the Old Republic was Mission.
Yeah, I know.
That voice was like nails on a chalkboard.
When I had to play her again in a different game because they have a synergy between these two, and I was just like, I'm not upgrading that character because it's like melted in my brain about how annoying her voice is.
Yep.
But is it Veo or Mayo? Mission
Veo, I think he's right.
Veo. Yep. Yeah. If I didn't mispronounce a name this episode, that would have been one day without mispronouncing a name. So I'm glad I did, Ruben. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, we can have that. No, we can't be conscious of that. But that's a cool figure. I think it's kind of going under the radar right now. So the bots haven't got to it yet. Good luck and go and get those. I think you should be all right. I do know that some people are complaining about the Rex, but they did a re-release.
GameStop exclusive, right? I don't know if we said
yes, exclusive. GameStop exclusive. It is. Yeah, the gaming greats are all GameStop exclusive. So when you see gaming greats, that's where you're going for that. Okay, and I wish somebody else could pull this. Oh, so then we're going to get into the hotness. Now, we add a lot into this one, but the Bad Batch, I mean, there's some people that aren't on this episode maybe because they said that this wasn't the best episode they ever saw. So we went from the Brady Bunch down to 4 people. So you can tell us where our grades are going to come on this. All right, let's add to the stream. Let's go over it real quickly. Starts off with, and especially for Father's Day, is really great. Oh wait, no, it didn't start off with that because we put it in there. But we finally do get Crosshair and Hunter back to do their main rivalry thing, which is kind of cool because we've been missing Crosshair for the last 3 or 4 episodes. This is what I love when you make an Imperial that I want to just punch in the face. That's a good Imperial. And that's an Imperial I want to punch in the face. And all his, I don't care about this or that. Obviously, I caught this in between the screens while they were talking to each other. So it gives this cool side effect. But they did have a plan the whole time. They start talking about how they had. Now, listen, I've heard 2 interpretations about this. They said they had somebody there. And some people, from what I heard, thought that they were talking about that they had another bounty hunter, i.e., what's her name from Mandalore, from the Mandalorian, working on it. The one that turns into a robot. You know what I'm talking about? What's her name? Fennec.
Oh, Fennec.
Oh.
Fennec.
Yeah, Fennec. I was under the impression during this conversation that that's not who they're talking about. There's somebody else on that. Either it's Crosshair or it's somebody in that group that they have that's watching over. What's her name?
Didn't they say he said bounty hunters, right?
Well, they said that at one point, but they also made a reference to something else on that. They said that they had some bounty hunters go ahead, but they said we also have one other option or something to that effect. I didn't think they were talking about CAD BANE. I think they were talking about something else.
Also, I couldn't tell if she was angry or confused or what. Like her facial reaction at the end of that scene was weird. I was like,
yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. I think she was trying to decide if he was saying the bounty hunter or if he was saying another person. I think they can activate Crosshair if they really need to. I really do. I think that's what they're
programming or something.
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying there because they are the one that's programming it. So you get the little touching thing where they're teaching. I thought this was cute. And then it was a smoke bomb, not a real detonator, which was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. They have their relationship back intact. You get Rambo going at it a little bit, which is nice. You can see he's a little antsy. They've got to steal the. They have the moral dilemma if they should be stealing weapons and selling it, or if they're just going to be in debt the rest of their life.
I love how happy Wrecker was about the torpedoes.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
About the torpedoes.
This is what I mean. I know they had to play it up a little bit, but they're taking a little bit too long time securing all these weapons. You saw it coming, and then he gets his torpedo, which he eventually throws at somebody and it doesn't blow up. I don't know why he activated it. Hunter or Crosshair comes in with just a couple battalions, which is I mean they did send it all after him, so it was kind of cool. They did a lot of dark screening here. It kind of made it. I liked all this. It was great because it felt like you were there.
Do you guys watch it? Do you guys watch it with the captions on?
I do not.
Because I do because it tells you who's speaking, and they gave the female like elite commander, the lieutenant or whatever, under Crosshair. She has a different designation that's when she's talking. That's not clone. It's like ES-04 or something.
She is the clone though.
I know, but it's interesting to see ES, like what that stands for. I don't know.
For the listing.
Elite squad. I don't
know. Maybe. This is interesting. I actually did a close up of this because Omega's supposed to be scared. There was some weird parts of this of how Omega couldn't. She's been able to learn everything so quickly, but even with disarming the bomb, she got caught up on that. A couple other things, but even when he's like, "Oh, you won't hurt the child," did you see her eyes? Just like the typical little kid. She's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, I don't need you to protect me, really. And she ends up getting her bowcaster out and starts shooting imps then, too.
Crosshair's ruthless with the aim at the kid.
Yeah, he was. This was kind of cool how they got out of here, but this opened up the best scene, I think, of the show. Well, not the best. The best of this fight scene. When Crosshair starts getting his face just melted off. I thought this was really cool how they did this. And then I was like, is this Dengar's backstory?
Right.
So he's a little bit messed up. I wonder, and how that didn't fry the chip. Maybe it did down the road. Okay, so there it goes. Yeah, sorry. Came faster. I was trying to slow it down. But we got CAD BANE back, and I don't think anybody here is disappointed with that. CAD came out just hot. We even got Toto. I mean, and his leg got shot off. Then these scenes were very similar, and we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. Actually, I think we brought it up like 3 times last week, guys. This is that little animatronic or whatever they call it thing that I always get wrong. Where it was supposed to be the end, one of the Bad Batch episodes that they didn't go. It's supposed to be with Boba Fett, so we're hoping we're still going to get something to that effect. A lot of the scenes right here, you can see it. It was all. If I could have stopped it better and got better captions of this, it almost was like identical to that.
Very similar.
Even like the shot, they shot him in the helmet and it busted off. We all know because we watched this that Hunter does not die from this. He just gets knocked off, even though he doesn't have Beskar or anything else. There's the lay down scene right there instead of the helmet.
Can I interject something there?
Go ahead.
A lot of what I've heard in the past from people talking that I think know things, right? Is that Bane, one of the reasons he was able to dent that helmet is because he uses something metal. I can't think of
those slugs.
Yeah, he uses that Beskar slugs.
Beskar slugs.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I guess he could always change out his bullets. I mean, I guess if you want to go there, but the fact that Hunter's vest was able to stop his bullet was kind of.
I don't know. Did it? I thought he actually got shot.
Oh,
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. It was weird how it said. Yeah, it was kind of cool because you would.
I'm overthinking things.
I thought he got shot, but was just still alive. I thought, but
there's
that's
also
the way I looked at it.
Durasteel versus. That's going to get us into an argument of Durasteel and not Durasteel, which I unfortunately had a bunch of kids over and somebody was trying to prove their Star Wars knowledge and call it Beskar Durasteel. Well, Durasteel. Beskar. Either way. All right. So CAD Bane's back and Toto lost a leg and then whacked the girl in the face. Okay. So
he did.
That's the end of our slides. That's the background of the helmet. I just wanted to give a little close up reel there. We can rank the episode and I'm just going to leave, where is it? Just so I'm going to leave this up while we rank the episode. Because this might be the only thing left. It might be me and this screen left here for all you people to see. I'm getting a lot of messages in already. Everybody's giving this one a 5. Solo, we're going to start off with you because I think everybody thinks you're just going to purposely not give this a lot of helmets, and I think they're wrong. I actually think they're wrong. I think you're going to do something good. So it is Father's Day. Solo, impress us all.
Solid 2 3/4. No, I'm kidding. It's a 5 all day. I mean, I did not see Cad Bane. I did not. When they showed him, I was like, GTFO. Like, man, I did not see that coming. I was really taken aback. I thought for sure that the cloners were talking about they had a special bounty hunter they were going to send in the Boba fashion. Because of their, already ties to Django and all of that. And I thought for sure we were going to see something more along that line. But when that showed up, wow. I thought they had great foreshadowing with the whole bomb scene with Wrecker and Omega. I think somewhere down in the series, we're going to see where she either has to defuse or make or build something along the lines with either a smoke bomb or defuse a bomb. I thought that was great foreshadowing. Man, just out of the park. 2 of them really, really solid back to back. I wish they would have cut out maybe 1.5 of the previous, ones that were now they really feel like fillers after having these 2 home runs back to back. But
I think he has, yeah.
I got to go 5, man. I got to go 5 on this one.
All right, 5. Wow. That's probably the last 5 we'll see out of him, folks. So record it, cut it. I think there's a cut feature now. Feel free to cut that one out. There you go. All right, who wants next?
I'll take it.
Very good, JJ.
I'm gonna ruin everyone's day. Nah, I give it 4.5. I'm a harsh critic to get to 5, so 4.5 for me. I liked almost everything about it. The only thing I didn't like was it bothers me the story of Omega. Like I still can't figure that out, and I would like a little hint. Like she seems to go in and out of whatever her clone programming is or whatever. Like she only seems to use it maybe when her life's in danger. I don't know. I kind of had that theory earlier, but so I'd like a little more exposition there. But it was great to see Crosshair's story finally move forward. I was looking for that for like the last 5 episodes. So, but yeah, I'd say 4.5.
What's the book you got next to the Simpsons over there?
That would be Darth Maul number 2.
Why did you have that book?
Because Cad Bane showed up.
Yeah. Okay.
But that still doesn't. It doesn't mean an automatic 5.
Well, all right.
It's
All
just
right.
Cad
All right.
Bane's there. I do. Well, are we going to go over the kind of weirdness it creates with the helmet at the end?
About
Or
Boba
do I-
Fett?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You can talk about it. Yeah,
Well-
I mean, I put it in the thumbnail for a reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, like, that happens during Clone Wars, right? That unfinished shootout,
Mhm.
that unfinished scene that we see.
supposedly, I mean, you don't really know where it happens in Clone Wars because it was just
Right.
like there
But
was.
the Clone Wars are over now, and he's still there. I mean, Bane gets shot in that. We don't know that he's dead necessarily, but he's still got
But-
apparently the same hat on.
Okay. But then I'll say, if that's the fact, then why do you have the Bad Batch? Because the Bad Batch technically is supposed to have a Clone Wars. When they left Kashyyyk, that was technically after Clone Wars because Order 66 had already happened, and then they had the Voss thing. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, just give me Voss 2 while you're at it, man. I mean, just do it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead,
Why
Jedi.
don't-
Before I.
This is why I don't like timelines. right there. Okay. I just ignore them. I just ignore the timelines. Man, this was a tough one because it was so good. And then if I'm gonna give it the grade, a lot of people Solo think that I'm gonna give it, or I was curious if I was gonna give it, then I have to look back at the score I gave the one last week and So they're really making me stick. They're really testing, will I stick to my guns on this and not give a 5 until I see Boba Fett bump. And since we did not see Boba Fett, maybe we all think he's coming, and that's something. And if I could give this a 4.75, I would, but I can't. So this is going to be a.
There you go. You just saw him.
Doesn't count.
So it's going to be a 4.5, but it was a great episode. I like the we got Crosshair again. I'm very curious now. I love it when they kind of make us think what's next. So now with what happened to Crosshair getting burned by that engine, what's next for him? Is it going to affect his shooting? Is he going to have some sort of cybernetic eye? Blah 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 blah. I mean, and the fact that they're showing so much of we use this term a lot, especially with episodes 7 through 9, the whole Mary Sue label. The fact that they're showing so much of Ahsoka, Omega's training and development. So it just something I thought about was, are they doing this because it's just good storytelling and that's the way it should have been done with Rey from the beginning? Or are they doing it because of lessons learned and a lot of the fan reaction that they got because they didn't really, opening up an argument, do it with Rey so much. So
to be fair, you got movies versus TV shows. You got a lot more time for exposition and character development. But, yeah.
Especially if you're going to have,
But I guess my point is I like that they're doing it. Why they're doing it is, we can have that discussion and it's fun and whatnot. But I just like that we're getting to see it. With Omega. So 4.5. I thought it was great. Damn, if I could give it a 4.75, I would. No Boba Fett, no Boba
Pete
Bump.
here this week. You can't make any 4.75s for you. I like everything you're saying, but I think that besides the Cad Bane portion of it and seeing Cad and Oda, which is really cool, as a whole, the episode was really good. You knew Crosshair was coming, right? But like, what was going to happen? And just as you're like, crap, I actually thought they might have all. I was like, at one point, I was like, are they going to kill? Is one of the Bad Batch? Are we going to see like either Echo or Tech sacrifice themselves here? Or like they had that feeling. You knew that they were going to get out, but it really felt through the whole show like, oh crap, we might actually lose something. Something bad's going to happen. And obviously, Cad got Omega, so you're like, okay, well, something did happen, but it wasn't on the scale that it felt. And then the burning and all the other stuff with Crosshair. And I'm telling you, I think there's a lot in that beginning in the conversation, and it's going to come back later on. Like Solo said about Omega, she's going to have to do the diffuse thing, sure. But I also think that these little tidbits where you're seeing the Kamoans talk to people and the conversation between those two, the main scientist and the governor of the planet, you're right, JJ. That look on her face was like, wait a minute, is he talking about something we can activate? Or is he talking about another bounty hunter? Because he kind of left it open-ended there. And if that's the case, that means they have something else planned. And if you think that, I mean, I just think that if you're going to do 16 episodes, at one point you're going to have the Crosshair either death or redemption story. That's the only two options you can do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And which one are you going to get? I would figure they weren't going to do the death thing. At this point, they just burnt the crap out of him, though. So who knows what they're going to do with him? I mean, he could be Valance next week. I mean, that's how close he is.
He could be Dengar.
Yeah, he could be Dengar. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's going to be Dengar.
Next week on Is It a Trap?
Yeah. Is he
Crosshair is
Dengar?
really Dengar.
Is he really Dengar?
Turn into Dengar.
Yeah.
Cross-
But what I'm saying is, like, I really thought it was good. I thought it was good more. Like, yeah, I love CAD BANE, man, dude. Like, that's so cool. But, like, that would have gotten it 4 alone, like, probably, I think, right? And as far as people saying that Omega's annoying, I think this is where they start to turn her away from, like, always giving you her, like, they gave enough where it gave her story thing, which now she's just, okay, cool, and she's not the focal point. So this is the one episode where she was very not the focal point at all. She's almost a second or a fourth character in this one when you're really looking at it of importance, right? You've got Hunter and Crosshair, and you've got their arc together. You've got whatever's going on back at the planet. Then you've got, Wrecker's coming through with his stuff. She's kind of like right there with it, right? Bottom line is, it's getting a 5 out of me. I mean, it was start to finish. It was good. I did have that feeling we were going to lose somebody, and then we didn't, but they did have somebody. I mean, all across the board, it was good. And this, you're right. This opens up. Is this just foreshadowing for the fans? Is this like, if they kind of do that, I think it's going to be like Darth Maul at the end of Han Solo. Like, I don't like that fan. Like, we're just going to, just because, you know what I mean? I would actually like to see a showdown eventually, and we might get to see a showdown. So
Darth Lopez, we kind of already did that. It's a trap. Go back a few episodes. We did an It's a Trap on the Death Troopers and whether or not Crosshair was part of that War Mantle and all that.
Yeah, I mean, he might be. Maybe he's going to go into that.
Well,
that could be
kind of changing a little bit. Did anyone else read that article about the voice actress that does the voice for Omega on Star Wars? Well, it's the same. It's the same actress that played in that Walking Dead web series when they were on the plane. She was a real badass in that. By the way,
Is she Australian? She sounds Australian just in the way she talks.
She's Malaysian Chinese, but I think she was raised in. She's
New Zealand, I think.
Oh, really? I was going to say, just sounds Australian the way she says.
I heard it was Australian.
Kev, are you still in here? Kev, please, could you?
But she was a real badass in
down for us.
That Walking Dead short story, or I guess it was Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah,
the knockoff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just seeing CAD BANE opened up so many. My mind started racing. Like, okay, there's a lot of directions they can take this now and really open it up.
So,
well, I was glad too because you know how it turned. You know how the other story of CAD BANE turned out.
Yeah.
And no offense to Hunter, but he's no Boba Fett, right?
No.
I think if they would have pulled that, if Hunter would have ended it.
The real question is, so does that mean that Boba Fett CAD BANE moment never happened now, right?
Right. It had to, but it could still.
So how does the dent get in the helmet?
So it could still happen. That's what I'm saying. We
you only have
see Boba Fett in this.
But from the comics that if we're gonna go hardcore timeline on it, the dent's got to be there by the time New Hope rolls around.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it could happen in Bad Batch. Like,
yeah,
sure,
it could happen.
But is that? So yeah, and this I wish. Dang it, JJ. So is that canon? That the whole thing about it happening back in the timeline, that's canon, right?
No,
not canon.
Not really.
Canon, to heck with it. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, it was an unfinished Clone Wars script, so if they actually made that episode, yes, it would have been canon, but they never did. So
it was purposely to explain the dent in the helmet.
Yeah.
So at this point, I mean, okay, here's my question that this brings up. This definitely opens it up to see Boba Fett. Are the cloners talking? Did they hire multiple bounty hunters? Did they put it out there? And there was they said somebody in the chat said it earlier. Did the cloners put it out there and just say hire a bounty hunter? So now they put it to the guild and all the bounty hunters are out there? Or did they only hire a specific couple? Or did they specifically only hire CAD BANE? Now, I think they probably put it out there to hire a couple.
Yep.
And I think this is where we see Boba show up and go, hey, that's my bounty. And boom, we got a shoot off. And
Also,
a helmet.
That could be the other person they were referring to in the background, though.
Yep.
Like it could be Crosshair, but it could. See, I was under the impression that he eventually was saying, we're sending CAD, right? We're sending this guy that we know because CAD's famous for hijacking people. He really is. Remember, we get the Stinky or whatever, the Hut's kid, Jabba's kid, right? And he went to the prison, broke, like all that's good. But there was some. He seemed to say, like, she seemed to say, we pretty much have a contingency plan. Do you want me to press the button? He's like, no, we got this bounty hunter that's going to go out there and take care of it. That's how I interpreted what their conversation.
And don't forget, he said bounty hunters, plural.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett at this point, I think, is still technically teammates, sort of, with other bounty hunters. And also, too, if he shows up and shows, it's important to remember in that unfinished scene where he gets shot in the helmet and he shoots CAD BANE, that I think at that point, doesn't CAD BANE have hostages or something like that? And that's why Boba shows up there? Just to free the hostages or something?
Wasn't it that they were just... No, I think no. He used Boba as a decoy.
Right. But I thought Bane had like hostages or had a bounty or something like that.
For what? Are you talking about the animatronic thing?
Yeah.
No, so in the animatronic thing, he maybe, but the whole point was Fett was pissed off because CAD BANE used Boba Fett as like target practice, pretty much. Like he ended up putting him out there to get the bounty, but he used him as a
he snaked it from him.
Yeah, well, no. He used him as bait. He used him as bait, and Bubba almost died from it. So Bubba was pissed, so he came back, and that's when Boss said, "No, Moss, go ahead, man. I don't think it's a good idea, but I'll let you go at it." And then Bubba
let the kid take his shot or something like that.
Yeah, let the kid take his shot or whatever like that.
Going back to Solo's question about multiple bounty hunter. I mean, there could be multiple bounty hunters with multiple.
It could almost be like Bounty Hunter War, where they try to steal
exactly
it back.
Like Bounty Hunter, because you could. I mean, we know the Empire could have. I mean, they probably have other options other than Crosshair. Of course, you have the cloners. I can't never think of their names. And then I guess, and this is probably a stretch, but you also have lady lizard
lady.
I think.
Sid.
Sid.
You also have Sid. Now this is a stretch, but you also have Sid because she could hire somebody, Boba Fett, whoever. Boss
would be
because I mean the Bad Batch aren't going to make her any money if they're always preoccupied chasing down Omega. They're not making her any money. Is she really going to be an ally, or is she going to cut ties?
Sting? You think they're going to bring Sting and then she's going to get thrown over by Beckett? Is that what you're saying there, Darth Lopez? I'm not quite sure they're going to do that on Bad Batch. I don't think they're going to kick Sting over the edge. But that'd be cool to see Sting. It'd be cool. I mean, there's a lot of options that they could do with stuff. It was cool, man. I'm glad they did what they did. Really glad they did what they did. Now I just hope that they keep going up. Yeah, I know. All right. Well, hey, listen, Lopez, happy Father's Day to you. Stick Boy to you too. Everybody else that is a father. I hope you had a good Father's Day
tonight.
Jedi, you still got dinner, right? You already got presents.
I'm just saying we made good time tonight.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. Didn't know we did. All right, so I was saying happy Father's Day to everybody, but Jedi, he's got to go to dinner, I believe. Yes.
I never say no to dinner, so when it's ready, I'll be there.
All right. Well, hey, thank you everybody in the chat.
Dinner time. Yeah.
Thank you everybody in the chat. We will see you next week.